Heartbound. Let's see if my stuff decides to work today. Because sometimes my YouTube thing doesn't like to work. Let's see. Nope, okay. I guess YouTube ain't gonna work. I'm gonna have to port this when we're done. Alright. Let's get into it. Let's see. Oh, is it really gonna put us back here? Alright, I guess it's putting us back a bit. I love these guys. What's up, monkey? You know what? We went with Shelly last time. Let's go with Sheldon this time. When it tells us to split. Just so we have some new content before we get to the update. There has been an update. I'm just not 100% sure if it's actually added anything. It seems like it did, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, based on the patch notes. But we're gonna see. I love the sword sounds. I can practically hear them in my head, just being all persnickety with each other. Alright, let's see. Hey, is everything alright? Look, I'm sorry you had to see that. It's fine, really. It's just something I've been working on. Takes a while to correct course. When you've lived as long as I have. I warned you. It's about to start. Yes, we're gonna listen to Sheldon. Get out of here. You see a lot of stuff. Good stuff. Bad stuff. Everything in between. It's a long time. I've definitely seen a lot. You? A lot? Ha! You're not even old enough to feel ways about stuff yet. Well, you're too old to stuff ways about feel! What? What? Anyway, did you want to talk about something else? It's gonna be a while, so we might as well pass the time. Animus. You know I can't quite remember when we came here. Misery willing. We'll be here a long time either way. I thought, remember, Shelly said something different. Shelly said, not chaos willing, but something that means chaos. I think it starts with an M too. Misery? One of the primal aspects. He promotes order, life, and somber reflection. When we pass on, he helps us to the next world. That's why we honor the trees. What do trees have to do with this? Everything. When your time is up, misery leaves a sapling behind in your place. Not everyone believes in the old ways, of course. But you and I, we know the truth, don't we? Sure. Attaboy. It's nice to see youngins so interested in history. Too many don't know how to stop and enjoy the world around them. Is there anything else you want to know? No, I'm not going to change the route. Shelly. We may fight a lot, but it's harmless. Didn't look harmless. Well, it's not your relationship, now is it? You're right, though. Sometimes things just don't. They just don't. Doesn't mean anyone failed. It doesn't? Nah. It just means you're on a different journey. Leaves may drift apart, but we're all carried by the same wind. She has my shell and I have hers. Not much else matters. Thanks for letting me talk that out. It's easy to bottle things up inside and forget you can share with others. Life isn't lived in isolation, even when we think it is sometimes. Anything else on your mind? Do we get to mention the dude this time? Oh, whoops, I should probably let my brother know I'm streaming. Whoops. Let's see. Boop, there he is. I do get to bring up Ramul. The boy. Something wrong? He's just so different. It's not normal. What do you mean? He seems fine to me. He just needs to slow down. Running around like that just isn't natural. Well, I mean, he is a rabbit. I want the best for him. That kind of lifestyle doesn't seem sustainable. Maybe you're wrong. What do you know? You want a better life for him, right? Of course. One that's better than yours? No question. So acting exactly like you is gonna give him that? You know, you're right. Don't tell anyone I said that, though. Or what? Or else. Well, it looks like we're about there. Thanks for the time. Sure thing. Or sure thing. Alright, let's see. Is there any more content added after this? Ah, dang it. Dang it. Okay. Yeah. I figured if we were gonna have to go through this part again anyways, I might as well get both sides. Alright, well. I guess I'm gonna have to get something else in the meantime. You know what? I missed my stream on Friday, so let's make up for that. There we go. Alright. Let me just change my thing on Twitch real quick, actually. Boop. Changing the stream info real quick. Okay. The main characters in my story are twins, a boy and a girl. Even though they were fraternal twins, they looked nearly identical, as if they really were doppelgangers. The little brother had feminine features, and the typical signs of puberty didn't show. If he had put on the same clothes as his twin, perhaps people would have definitely mistaken them for sisters. All too often, boys who look like girls end up getting bullied. But not in the little brother's case. His big sister was extremely protective, and if anyone was mean to her little brother, she was quick to bully that person back. An eye for an eye. That's how the twins operated. Under his sister's protection, the little brother never felt insecure about his femininity. But he became very dependent on his big sister. Meanwhile, the big sister always needed someone to rely on her to uphold her self-esteem, and she grew to be quite passive-aggressive. If her brother ever failed to notice something that she did for him, she would get overly frustrated and ignore him for days on end. Adorable, isn't she? But regardless of all that, the twins were very close, almost as if it was only the two of them in their own little world. That is, until the big sister met a certain handsome guy. It happened this past spring. The twins were both taking Intro to Philosophy at the time. One day they were discussing animal rights in class, and the professor asked whether it was okay for people to eat cats and dogs. Is that professor a moron or something? What's there to think about? You eat an adorable fur baby today, you might as well eat a baby tomorrow. Could you just let me finish my story, please? Sorry, I just really love animals. There was this handsome guy who usually sat in the corner and rarely talked. But that day he raised his hand and spoke. So we can eat chickens, pigs, and cattle, but not cats or dogs? That seems awfully inconsistent to me. Hearing this argument, the little brother had a response. People don't love things equally. That's just human nature. I think that kind of inconsistency is excusable. I don't normally eat animal meat, but that's just a personal choice. If a dog or cat lover still chooses to eat other kinds of meat, I don't think that's any less consistent than my preferences. The two went at it, and support was split in the class. As class ended, the professor praised both for their well-constructed arguments. You know, this kind of sounds like, the logic and critical thinking class that I took. Because we did a little bit of philosophy in there too, and we would have debates like this in class all the time. It was actually a pretty fun class. The big sister supported her brother's argument, but she was also impressed by the handsome guy's logical persuasiveness and the articulate way he talked. Hmm. What's the matter, Brucie? It looks like you were about to say something. What is it? Talking about Greta and Hans, aren't you? Greta and Hans? Who are they? James, you really are something. Do you really not remember them? They were in our year and you had classes with them. They majored in psychology as well. Greta and Jade in particular were pretty close. But half a year ago, the two of them disappeared. What? Seriously? Jade, I thought Greta was your friend. Isn't it a little mean to gossip about your friend's disappearance? Look at how sincere my eyes are. Are these the eyes of someone who gossips like that? How should I know? I'm not a telepath. I can't read your mind. Precisely because Greta and I were so close, it makes sense that I want to figure out what really happened. Isn't that right, James? I guess. What's going on here? Even if she really knows the truth, why would she want to talk about it now? What is Jade thinking? As time went on, Hans and the handsome guy clashed in heated debates over all kinds of issues. They became rivals and best friends. When the student association planned a big event, Hans formed a group with Greta and the handsome guy, and then Greta invited me, so the four of us ended up working together. That was really fun, but also super exhausting. After a successful event, Greta suggested going to an amusement park after classes on Friday to celebrate. However, our professor suddenly decided that Hans and I were in charge of the next presentation. We needed time to prepare, so only Greta and the handsome guy made it to the amusement park. And that's where something magical happened. As soon as the two of them arrived at the park, it started drizzling romantically. They both had umbrellas, but they acted like they didn't and huddled under the handsome guy's umbrella together. They were suddenly so close. She just said she didn't go. How does she know all this? I just know, okay? Don't interrupt me. Wait, what? They stayed at the amusement park until it was dark. When they finally left, there was an amazing night view all around them. It was incredible. On a whim, Greta pulled out her phone and played her favorite song, Don't Fall for My BFF. The handsome guy said, "Wow, I love this song too." And they had a great time talking about music. They walked through the evening, humming songs together. They got so close that the backs of their hands accidentally touched. And then, they were holding hands. Don't read too much into this, but are you interested in anyone at the moment? There are two I think I might have feelings for. Really? Me too. Is one of them here with you right now? Yeah, it's you. That was the moment they confirmed they had feelings for each other. But feelings is such a vague word. Greta didn't realize she had an actual crush on the handsome guy until the day she invited him and me to a movie that Hans had recommended. Oh yeah, that movie was so good. It was, especially when the girl finds out the guy she secretly loves isn't her best friend. That was pretty heartbreaking. Huh? So you've both seen the movie already? Oh, well. I just happened to see it with a friend. Oh, I see.
Greta recalled the handsome guy saying that there were two people he had feelings for. One was Greta, and the other must be the one you went to the movie with. Thinking about it threw Greta into a jealous fit. That's when she realized that she'd fallen in love with the handsome guy. From that moment on, she couldn't get her head out of the clouds. Greta herself thought a 20-year-old shouldn't act so love-stricken. But what could she do? She was totally obsessed. Greta went on several dates with the handsome guy, and it was always romantic. She fell more and more in love. Then finally, she decided to confess her feelings. Greta, I think we should just be friends. I see. You've fallen for the other person, then. Sorry, I should have realized how I felt sooner. No, it's not your fault. Can you tell me who it is? I can't say exactly, but it's someone close to you. We should just be friends. Those words started it all. Oh, I forgot to mention. Besides listening to music, Greta loved to cook. Every time she made steak, she invited me over to her place. The Saturday after she got rejected, Greta invited me over again. Normally we laughed and chatted through dinner, but that day Greta didn't say a word. The atmosphere was unusually heavy. Hans was out with a friend too. The only sounds were that of cutting and chewing meat. Greta's steaks were usually cooked medium, but that day they were rare. Whenever she cut her steak, I could see the bright red juice bleeding out. Hey, do you think I'm kind of an attention seeker? Greta finally broke the silence, but started on a disturbing topic. What's wrong? What makes you say that? You know how I told you that my dad was very strict? When Hans was little, my dad would lock him out on the balcony for every little mistake. Hans would knock on the window all night long, begging my dad to let him in. And every time I'd let Hans back in the dead of night, but my dad always found out the next day and beat Hans up. It was all my fault. It was your dad that beats Hans up, not you. I know, but if I were Hans, I'd blame my sister's meddling for making my punishment that much worse. I still can't mind my own business. It might look like I'm always doing stuff for Hans and others, but I only do it for the attention. Everyone knows, but they're just too nice to say it. Whatever people think about you, if you had just minded your own business back when I broke my leg freshman year, I don't know how I would have gotten through. Sometimes I think if I hadn't broken my leg, we wouldn't be such close friends. It was a kind of destiny, don't you think? Besides, you're not a telepath. How do you know that Hans or anyone else thinks you should mind your own business? Sorry. You always have to make me feel better. Don't say that. We're friends, aren't we? Jeez. She always did this, that sentimental bitch. That's why she had no friends. Jade, come on. Huh? Every time she felt insecure, she never said anything. She just pushed herself to the edge, but still wanted everyone to notice. How could anyone stand that? That's what made her so appealing. I loved seeing Greta riled up, and sometimes I'd invite Hans but not her, right in front of her face. Or ignore her birthday and say, "Oops, when was it again?" a few days later. I wish you guys could have seen her face. The poor thing was so adorable. Jade, you're kind of a sociopath, aren't you? You are such a psycho. Oops, I got carried away. Let's get back on topic. So what's wrong? What's on your mind this time? It's the handsome guy. I thought he was interested in me, so I asked him out a bunch of times. But it turns out he didn't like me after all. I must have been so annoying hanging around him like that. I don't think... And you know what? He likes someone else already. Oh shit. Greta stabbed the steak hard with her knife, and red juice splattered across my face. Oops, I'm sorry. It's okay. You're the one who went to that movie with him, aren't you? I knew it. It's all your fault. Oh shit. I know this sounds corny, but in that moment, I saw murder in her eyes. In that instant, she really meant to kill me. Just thinking about how many times Greta must have simulated in her head how she was going to push me down, mount my struggling body, and thrust her knife into my face. Yeah, you really are some kind of socio or psychopath. Good lord. Whoa, what the fuck? She just stared at me, bit her lower lip. She put the knife down with a trembling hand and never touched me once. Why you? Why does it have to be you? If I hate you, I'll lose the only friend who listens to my problems. It was like a bucket full of ice water thrown in my face. I felt robbed and disillusioned. It had looked so promising. But Greta totally ruined the moment. Jade, you need therapy. You're just like my dad. It's never your fault, is it? If I blame you, it's like I'm the bad guy. Perhaps to Greta, the villains in her life who weren't quite evil enough, like her dad and me, were the worst. She wanted to shift all the blame on us, but she couldn't because we weren't completely at fault. We shouldn't see each other for a while. I need to be alone. As I listened to Greta's words, I told myself I had to be patient. Not yet. At least not now. Greta is still just a bud, but sooner or later she'll flower and secrete her sweet nectar. Yeah, there's something seriously wrong with you, Jade. Jesus criminy. After our confrontation, Greta got visibly depressed and had trouble sleeping even an hour a day. Every time she got the song Don't Fall for My BFF in her head, she couldn't stop the sadness welling up inside of her. Why not me? Why her? Why don't you want my love? Why do you want hers? These thoughts continued to haunt Greta. It had all started and ended so quickly that Greta couldn't take it. And now that it had ended, time was so slow that Greta couldn't take it. She wanted to go back before any of it had happened. Then perhaps she would only have had fun memories. Meanwhile, Hans knew that something wasn't right and asked Greta what had happened, but she refused to say anything. If you really understood me, you shouldn't have to explain. You just know what I'm going through. I guess no one in this world understands me after all. Girl! Communicate! Hans didn't even know that Greta was in love. How could he have comforted her? But he didn't give up. Even if Greta doesn't want to tell me, I can be there for her anyway. And it works surprisingly well. Greta, the steaks you make are delicious. Can you teach me how to cook them? I want to learn. Really? Well, of course. I'd be happy to. With Hans by her side, Greta finally started feeling better. Greta's heartbreak was a blessing in disguise. Greta may have gotten rejected, but she got that much closer to her dear brother Hans. Is this gonna turn into incest? I have a really distinct feeling that this is gonna turn into incest. That's a good story, but wasn't this supposed to be an urban legend? What about the doppelgangers? Who said I was done? You really can't diss Brucie for blowing his load too early. Hey, if Greta refused to say anything, how do you know she had sleeping problems? What kind of thoughts haunted her, or what kind of interaction she had with Hans? Listen to yourself. And you accuse me of sexing my story up? Excuse me? No, Jade didn't. What? Nothing. I just don't think Jade fabricated anything. I think that's what actually happened. Wow, Brucie, you understand me better than my own parents. What? Brucie, you're usually such a skeptic. Has Jade put you under a spell or something? Do I need to wake you up? I'm not sure, but I get the feeling that Jade still has a joker up her sleeve. There's no good reason for her to make up such little details. How much does she know? How does she know? What are her motives? That's the important part. One day at the end of the semester, Greta and I stayed on campus until nightfall to finish off some essays. Then we headed home together. On the way, I could tell Greta was holding something back. It was obvious that she wanted to tell me something, but she wanted me to take the initiative and ask her what was wrong. Ha! Like I'd ever do that. So we just kept walking, on and on. We'd gotten to a park near the campus when Greta finally opened her mouth. Jade, you're mad at me, aren't you? Huh? I got pissed that the guy I like fell for you, even though it wasn't your fault. I'm really sorry. It was such a shock. Greta was taking the initiative to make up with me? I mean, fuck, all I wanted was to see her emotions explode. But that was okay. I still had a joker left to play. Hey, forget about it. But I think you've misunderstood, Greta. I pointed towards the park and Greta turned her head to look. Oh my gosh. You know, a part of me had a feeling that that was gonna be the case. If it wasn't gonna turn into twincest, then... Yep. There, Hans was nuzzled up against the handsome guy's chest, and the handsome guy's arms were around Hans's delicate shoulders. This wasn't a hug between friends. They were obviously making out. Huh? I did go to that movie with him, but just as friends. He was clear about that. The one he's really into is someone close to you. Much closer than I am. Oh, come to think of it, the last time I went to your place, wasn't Hans out with a friend? Who do you suppose the friend was? What do you think they did? Did they go to an amusement park with a beautiful night view? Did they make out like they're doing now? Or was it even hotter? More steamy? Hans, you... Huh? Not quite convinced yet? Fine. Just listen to the lovebirds talk then. You love that amusement park way too much. Don't you ever get tired of it? Never, as long as it's with you. I'm having so much fun today. Thanks for asking me out. You've been looking down lately. I hoped it would cheer you up. Well, Greta's been in a horrible mood lately, and she won't tell me what's wrong. I'm worried that she's met some playboy who's stringing her along. If anyone ever betrays Greta, I'll skin him alive and eat his flesh. Damn. Alright. Silly boy. Little do you know that the one betraying her right now is you. Playboy? Where did that come from? I ask you out and all you can think about is your sister. Greta will always be my number one. You're number two at best. That's some sister complex you've got. Did Greta spoil you when you were little? I don't know what you mean, but my sister was always nice to me, yeah. Isn't Hans just the sweetest? Even during his date, he was thinking about Greta. But to Greta, his words only made her feel like Hans was using her to make himself look good. Like I said before, my dad used to beat me up when I was little. Greta didn't want me to be the only one who got punished, so she'd always try to help me out, and we would get beaten up together. That's how much she cared about me. But me, all I did was cry and let Greta console me, forcing her to say she was fine. Can't blame yourself. It was all your dad's fault. No, it wasn't my dad's fault. Back when our mom was around, he was really, really nice. Hans. My dad's not the one to blame. It was all because of the evil spirit. What? I knew that once I exorcised the evil spirit, my dad would be back to being nice again. Oops. Did I say something weird? What I meant was, my dad was possessed by the ghost of his past. So you don't mean an actual evil spirit? You had me worried there for a moment. Sorry, let's not talk about that anymore. Sorry I reminded you of such horrible memories. It's fine. Hey, by the way, Greta said she's hanging out with Jade tomorrow and won't be back until night. How about coming over in the morning? Greta taught me a secret recipe. What a masterpiece. When I was in the lowest of my lows, you had the gall to pester me to teach you how to cook. And it wasn't even for my sake, it was to seduce him. That was what was raging through Greta's mind. I know because I heard it. Of course I'd love to go, but I'm not a big fan of vegetarian meals. Vegetarian? Why vegetarian? Huh? I thought you were a vegetarian, Hans. Oh boy. What? No, I'm not. I just don't eat regular meat, but I'm not a vegetarian, silly. At the time you criticized my argument in class, I thought you said you didn't eat meat because you're a vegetarian. Are you just a picky eater? What kind of meat do you prefer? Could it be the kind I'm thinking about? Oh, that's very naughty of you. Watch out or I'll eat you up. Someone's a horny boy. Just listen to your dirty talk. What would your sister think if she heard? Oh, she did hear, and she was very angry. Cannibal Boy and his twin sister. Although, alright. Of course, Greta and I were the only ones there, but it was quite the sight. The two lovers had no idea we were there, and made out passionately for a while. Be careful on your way home. Don't get eaten by the Cannibal Boy. I'm more worried about you. Do you want me to walk you home? No thanks. I can take care of myself, you know. Okay, but you be careful too. Remember, I'll be waiting tomorrow. Don't be late, or you'll miss out on the meat. I thought Greta might do something, but she just walked away without saying a word. Maybe she was too angry to do anything. But I could see the butt of her rage growing larger and redder. The next morning, the handsome guy arrived at Hans's place on an empty stomach. There, he found a table lined with meat dishes. Sweet and sour pork, pork belly stew, smoked sausage, steak salad, all sorts of dishes. The main dish was Greta's special steak, cooked rare, just like that other time. Wow, what a feast! Sorry, I accidentally got too many ingredients. Considering how early in the morning you had to come, I was afraid you'd be eaten by the Cannibal Boy. He's just a man-eater. No need to fear him. There are plenty of vampires in the world. They suck the blood of the poor bit by bit just to make their own lives more luxurious. And we just look the other way. Unlike those vampires among us, at least the Cannibal Boy kills you on the spot and you die without suffering. If I had to choose, I'd go for the quicker death. Besides, the Cannibal Boy treats humans just like any other edible animal. So many people are quick to judge cat and dog eaters when they have no problem eating chicken, pork, or beef. Compared to those people who discriminate between animals, at least the Cannibal Boy is morally consistent. He treats all living animals equally. Sounds like flawed logic to me. Really? You want to talk about that over brunch? Eating cats, dogs, humans, blah blah blah? James, you wouldn't feel like eating if you were there, would you? Well, I'm not a freak like them. But forget about moral consistency or abuse. In my opinion, it doesn't require complex beliefs or a tragic past for a human to eat other humans. People talk about drooling over sexy bodies and refer to luscious breasts as melons. Those kinds of expressions are all over the place, don't you think? Plus, English, Chinese, and Japanese all use eating-related words to refer to sex. We're so used to that kind of slang that we don't think twice about it. Perhaps in the collective subconscious, eating is essentially a kind of possession, a kind of intimacy. So if eating is such an instinctive thing, do we need to ask why the Cannibal Boy eats humans? Do we really need to dig into what a tragic past he has? People want to fabricate his past because they're convinced he's a freak and a monster. He must have a very twisted past. He's not like us normal people. Do you even hear what you're saying? What I mean is, you don't eat cats or dogs, but not because you're an animal lover or because you're civilized. It's only because you happen to live in that kind of echo chamber. Excuse me? The only reason you don't eat humans is because no one around you does. You're just afraid that if you do, you'll be treated like a freak. Let's get back to the story. Hans, what kind of meat is this? Does it matter? Do you not like it? I do. I like it so much, I have to know what kind of meat it is. The texture's like beef, it tastes like pork, and it smells like lamb, but it's not restructured meat. Maybe a hamburger that's 70% pork and 30% lamb might taste something like this. But it hasn't been ground, it's a whole piece of meat. Where did you get this? Huh, so you care more about the type of meat than how well I cooked it? Figures. Hello, brother! You're Greta, aren't you? Where's Hans? Yeah, I think I heard that too. What happened between us doesn't concern him. Don't drag him into this. Really? Do I have to spell it out for you? Oh my gosh. She fed him her brother? Okay, that's not where I thought that was going. Not one bit. Nope. The handsome guy looked at the bloody chunk of meat and put his fork down with a shudder. If I hadn't played the bad guy, you know that sissy would have been bullied like hell. Well, I mean, this is called the Cannibal Boy, so I guess I shouldn't be entirely too surprised. But at the same time, that's not what I was expecting. Now that he's all grown up, he's seducing guys I like behind my back. Also, your sense of taste, it's really something else. There was a guy and a girl, identical in every other way, and you chose the guy? Well, Greta, did you ever consider that he's gay? So maybe it didn't matter how similar you two are in every other way. If you don't have the right parts, he's not gonna like you. Why Hans? Why not me? Give me a reason. Say something! Greta, I'm actually really curious why you're so convinced that you and Hans are identical except for your sex. The handsome guy stood up and walked towards Greta. Then he slowly gripped Greta's shoulders. His fingertips sank deeper and deeper into Greta's flesh, causing her face to contort in pain. But that doesn't matter anymore. The only thing that matters is that you and Hans are twins. So what? So what if we're twins? Nothing much. Just that you must be just as delicious as Hans, I'm sure. Yep, I saw that one coming. As soon as he mentioned the fact that they're twins, I saw that coming. Huh? After that, Greta and Hans went missing. I had to switch the game I was playing, by the way, brother, because, apparently they haven't put any more content into Heartbound yet. So I had to switch games. Yes. Yes, they are. I noticed that too. But they weren't dead. They both bloomed with wild abandon before withering in vain, frozen in their most beautiful moments. All it took was a little push for a normal person like Greta to murder someone and feed the flesh to someone else. At that table, she was a cannibal boy too. Greta proved that, and she'll live on forever in my heart. Jade, you, me, the handsome guy right there, we're all the same. Humans are all birds of a feather. Consistent beliefs, a tragic past, none of that is necessary. Anyone can turn into an evil spirit. Anyway, I'm sorry. I spent way too much time on one urban legend. Hope you enjoyed it. Hans was slaughtered by his doppelganger. Greta died the same way as her doppelganger. They're both worthy of being called doppelgangers, don't you think? Bullshit, that's not what a doppelganger is. Jade only brought up that topic as a way to give away what happened. What does she want? Does she want to blackmail me, or see my reaction? Or did she just want to prove her pet theory that everyone's insane? Is that a Fruits Basket poster in the background? I just noticed that. Hold on. Let me just... Is my mouse being captured? No, it is not. And I also need to... There we go. Fixed. Now it should be being captured. Although, on this screen, you still can't see it for some reason. Can you guys see my mouse? No, you cannot. It's supposed to be capturing my cursor. Oh wait, there it is. This poster right here. That looks suspiciously like a Fruits Basket poster. Because that looks like Toru Honda right there. Anyways. Okay. How does she know everything about Greta and Hans? By stalking them? Spying? Or maybe she hacked into their devices? Jade, why did you tell us this urban legend? Oh, come on. You of all people should know, Brucie. Hey, what the hell's going on? Were you two plotting to scare me or something? Is that why we're gathered in Jade's room? think I understand why Jade said her eyes were sincere. They're the eyes of a writer evaluating her work. Even Jade herself is a jester made to dance in her script. So now James and I have told our urban legends. Shouldn't you tell one too? If you hear the story of the Cannibal Boy and you don't want him to come knocking, you'll have to tell the story of his past to someone who doesn't know yet, right? What the hell, man? Why are you asking me this now? What's so funny, Brucie? Ridiculous. There's no past worth talking about. You civilized people eat plenty of animals, but you point at people who eat cats and dogs and call them savages. It makes me sick. If you can't eat some, don't eat any. If you want to eat some, then eat them all. Is that hard? Is it really that hard to be consistent? He was the handsome guy, wasn't he? That's all there is to it, plain and simple. Stop that, Brucie. You've got to leave him some hope. Just look at James's face. Can't you see it's filled with despair? How's the climax gonna happen now? You realize what a nuisance it is when too many people find out what I like to eat? I always set an annual limit for myself. But I guess I'm going to go over this year. I guess I should reward Jade's enthusiasm with an urban legend of my own. But I really don't like to conjure things up, so I'll let James here experience it firsthand. I knew it! I knew it! Damn, alright. Okay, so next up, I think is... Which one was it? Was it case 3? I think it was case 3. Let me see here. No, it was Loser Reborn. Where is that? There it is. Okay, so let's just install that. Boop. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that didn't take very long. Let's see. Yeah, I have time to... But should I, though? Because I've already switched games once. I think I might just end it early today. And I'll be back on Friday. When we're back on Friday, we'll start Loser Reborn. So, thank you guys so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, follow, ring the notification bell, hit the like button, all those fun YouTube and Twitch things, and I will see you guys on Friday for more of this stuff, for more of the paranormal case series. See you then!